Has ML Sound Lab done something completely new and original with the new Reflex IRs? That's what I'd like to discover, but before we dive in, let's take a listen to how these IRs sound with a real tube amplifier. Take a listen. Wonderful, so that was my ESP Ltd EC1000T CTM full thickness through the Diezel VH2 on the lead channel. And by the way, that guitar has the Fishman Fluence Will Adler pickups in it. And then I used 3 different IRs from these new Reflex IRs by ML Sound Lab. And basically there are now 3 speaker options available, and I chose one file for each speaker that sounded the most balanced with this amplifier. The amplifier was fed into my RedSeven Amplification Amp Central reactive load, by the way, as per usual, and the drums were ML drums. So what are these IRs all about, and what makes them so unique in this already saturated market? So the folks from ML Sound Lab basically had a custom cabinet built by Paul Guff from Zilla Cabinets, and it's basically a modified and beefed up Fat Boy cabinet. And the goal was to create a cabinet with a very neutral sound, so without tonal characteristics that have a big impact on the sound of a cabinet, basically. Because with normal guitar cabinets, say a Mesa Boogie 212 or 412 or an engl or whatever brand you can think of, closed back or open back, those cabinets all have an impact on the sound of a speaker. With those brand name cabinets, you usually get some resonances in the low mids and stuff like that. But this cabinet was designed to have a very neutral sound, so kind of more flat basically, letting the characteristics of the speakers shine through more as opposed to having the cabinet color the sound. So it's basically a great canvas for trying out various speakers and hearing all the speakers in their pure form. And these IRs are also unprocessed, but they were shot in a way so that they fit the mix really well. Now, I do think that they sound quite nice. They have a very clear and open quality to them with a nice and tight bottom end. And by tight, I basically mean that you don't really hear those sort of boomy resonances in the low end that you get with most other cabinets. Now, usually when you mic a cabinet, that's what you want, right? I mean, when you mic up an engl, for example, you want the characteristics of that cabinet, or when you mic up a Mesa Boogie and stuff like that. But sometimes it's very nice to have a very open, clear, and sort of neutral sound, especially when you're trying out different speakers. It really helps to identify the tonal characteristics of those speakers. All right, so as of right now, there are 3 speaker options available. There's the djent 30, which is based on a Celestion V30, I believe. There's the Green 90, which is based on a Celestion Greenback. And then there is the Mic 77, which of course is based on the DV77 Mick Thompson speakers by Eminence. So it's a nice variety to start with, but I suspect that they will add more in the future. In terms of the files, the packs are neatly organized. So you get 5 mixes, so mic blends basically, and then 8 single mic options, which are the 7B, the 57, the 121, the 160, the 184, the 421, the 906, and the U3. And each mic has A, B, C, D, and E options, which are basically brightness options, with A being the darkest and E being the brightest. So you can really find your sweet spot there in terms of the brightness. The packs also come with various sample rate options and also MPT options, which stands for minimum phase transformed, which can be preferred for blending files and stuff like that. So that's the gist of it. The goal is simple and clear, and the feature sets are also very easy to use. Now, of course, I want to try these IRs with a different guitar, my Schecter C7 Baritone, the 30-inch Baritone with the EMGs tuned to drop F sharp, so nice and low. And then I want to try a plugin. Let's try the ML Sound Lab Amped block letter plugin with the 5555 amp on the lead channel with a boost enabled, for a nice fat and thick modern tone with plenty of cut and punch as well. And let's try some different files this time. Take a listen. Great. So far, these IRs sound great with a real amplifier and plugins as well. And the plugin and the amplifier sound quite different in real life, but they worked well with both. So that's great. And again, they sound quite flat and neutral with a nice open top end, but not harsh or anything like that. And the bottom end is nice and tight. The Djent 30 and Mix 77 are my personal favorites, but the greenback is great as well. It's just not my personal preferred flavor when it comes to speakers. Now to try some of the different files, the mixes, and some of the single mic options, just so you guys can hear what sort of variety these IRs offer in terms of the tonal qualities. Let's loop some riffs with my Gibson Les Paul Custom through the ML800 amp sim, also by ML Sound Lab for a more crunchy rock tone. And I'm going to use the Libra plugin to sort of browse through some of the IRs. Let's take a listen. Cool stuff. So those were the new ML Sound Lab Reflex IRs. I do think that they offer something new and unique, especially because of the fact that this was a custom cabinet that was built with a very specific purpose, to have a very flat response sound that doesn't impact the tonal qualities of the speakers that much. So the speaker options are fun, and the fact that the cabinet sounds so neutral does make them unique for sure. So I recommend checking them out for sure, and I'll put a link in the description below. This video was sponsored by ML Sound Lab, many thanks to them, but of course all thoughts and opinions are 100% my own as per usual. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it useful. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on these IRs, and also please drop a like and subscribe as that really helps the channel out. And of course you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers!